It is 7/14/2023, and I want to go over this trade recap that I made. And I'm a little bit iffy about this trade. I believe the execution was right, but we had an issue with fear, right? So we had an issue with fear in the markets today. So I want to go over this. This is a SPY recap of the day. It's a Friday, so it's the end of the week. And check this out. You gotta check this out. Check this out. Oh, okay. I want to recap this because this is kind of what I was meant to show you before I got into the whole analysis part. So, we are up 8.52% or 8.52 in USD in last week's P&L, right? Then overall in the week, we are up 16.87% on this week's P&L. So we made it through this week. We survived this week and we made it through. I tried keeping the losses small, but you go over through the account calendar. You see, we had two big losses last week, and this is overall the account P&L calendar. We're gonna try to grow this as much as we can. Honestly, not really trying to grow it fast. I just want to compound. I don't really want to grow it fast. I just want to compound. That's all it is. I just want to have low risk, have super low risk, make sure that everything outpaces each other, and as long as we're able to continue go. But overall, we're up 16.87 on the week, which is good. This is my Weeble. This is my Weeble account P&L for this week. We'll check out the next week. For this week, we have been doing pretty well. Last week we kind of struggled a bit, but this week we didn't. We're up 16.87 overall, and yeah, um, that's probably really it. And I just wanted to add in this little segment in there because this is what I was meant to show you. But anyways, we can get back to the analysis. Check this out, right? This trade would have hit. It would have went away, but I got nervous. I got nervous. We had hold on, let me check what the data was right now. Let me check what the data was. We had some type of data come out today. And I want to check what it was. Oh, we had UMO consumer. So we had consumer data come out. I don't really do this, but what's it called? I actually had something really interesting happen. Kind of opened my eyes a little bit with news. I really didn't think too much about news. I really didn't look at it or anything until now. So I'm kind of like just getting catching up to this right now, right? So today we had news. We had consumer sentiment news today. And this is interesting because I actually saw this happen right in front of my face. Like I literally saw it happen in front of my face. So let me swap over the scene for you could see this right now. Right. Completely forgot about this one too. So for some odd reason the audio ended up cutting out when I changed the scene, so I will do the voiceover after the fact or in hindsight, whatever you want to call it. Right. So right here we're looking at uh UMO or consumer points, right? Consumer points is basically I don't know. I don't really know what it is. I'm guessing it's how much people are buying and consuming with their money. So, um yeah, I was basically going over on how we saw this news and then the big wick ended up happening afterwards. For some reason the audio ended up cutting out and I couldn't really see. But other than that, like that's pretty much what we went over. I think we saw that the fact that it was actual greater than, it was basically actual or greater than the actual currency. So we ended up looking at that and then we cut back to the actual video in itself. But anyways, that's probably gonna be this. So we'll come back to that right now. Surprisingly, I knew it was gonna go my way, but you know, it went the way that I wanted it to. I did. We came up here to 451 where there was a daily liquidity. We smacked that liquidity, ended up swiping it, ended up shooting straight down after that. It was crazy. I saw this. There's something else. I think I believe it was like 3 a.m. It was like 3 a.m. I was watching this video about some guy saying, "Oh, you should track the DXY or the US dollar index when you're trading, like when you're trading Euro USD." So I was like, you know what? What if I track the DXY, right? Because it's basically inverse. If the DXY is going up, assets are going down, right? Assets are going down. They're shooting down to the ground, right? So if they're shooting down to the ground, right, that's pretty good, right? If they're shooting down to the ground, that would be pretty good, right? And I actually ended up watching this. I ended up watching this. I was looking at it. I was like, what? So let's go over to Trading View right now. And let's load up Trading View, right? I'm going to move over the DXY to my second monitor right now for you could see it, right? This is the DXY. Let me show you. I was doing my analysis on it. I was expecting it to go up, which is what it did. We ended up coming right here, ended up tagging this 5-minute demand, ended up tapping into it, and then ended up going higher. I think we'll end up going higher because we have to fill all of this imbalance right here. We have to fill all of this, right? I mean, unless something happens in the economy, we need to fill all of this. Look at this. Oh my God, this is incredible. There's so much like falling down. It's actually insane, right? We have to come fill all of this up. So I see a lot of stuff going very bad for the S&P for a bit. Like I see a lot of bad stuff happening for it, right? I mean, not a lot, not to like a crazy extent, but at least until we come fill all of this up. If we get ourselves back up, I don't think we'll come all the way up here. I don't know. It might be, I might be thinking crazy, but I don't know. At the same time, it's very iffy, right? Just knowing how the markets move. I don't really know how the DXY moves. I don't know if it moves the way I expect it to, or like, this is my first time ever looking at the DXY today, right? This is my first time ever using the DXY in my trading. So, right, with that being in mind, I was taking a look at this, right? I was like, oh, we're in a downtrend, but we came all the way down here, and this looks like an imbalance that we could potentially fill, right? We need to fill all of this, right? And we actually even came down to one of these prices before, which is incredible. Um, so I actually see us. We might actually fill this up, but this could look really bad for the S&P 500. And it looks like we just came down to sweep that liquidity, and we could actually use that to our advantage. So if all of that means we could be going into put season. We could be going into a bear. Okay, hold on. We need to back this up real quick. I think uh, I might have said bear market. I apologize for that one. That was not meant to be said. Now looking back, I kind of realized how stupid that was to say. So what I meant mainly was that these past or these next 3 days, because we're talking about a $3 move on the US index, right? So this could take probably about maybe a week or maybe even a day to reach, right? So we're not really going into a bear market. So we could probably just drop off maybe $4 or $5 on the S&P and just retrace back up. Enjoyed the stock footage though. But basically, what I was trying to say initially was the fact that we are going into a downtrend, or we're going into an uptrend on the USD index, right? On the US dollar index. And if the US dollar index is if what I'm trying to say and my theory is correct, hypothetically speaking, of course, and if my theory is correct, every time the US dollar index goes up, assets such as BTC, BTC, SPY, all those assets end up dropping down because the value of the currency, or at least of the United States currency, is a lot more better, right? At least that's my understanding of it. So assets like that tend to fall, and they also end up selling off. So if the US dollar does good, then assets do bad. At least that's my theory, right? Or the Euro USD is at least gonna do bad. This theory can be completely proved wrong. I don't know. I have to obviously backtest it a lot more to see if that's correct, and then I'll get back to you guys with that. But other than that, just enjoy the stock footage. I don't think it's up a minute long, so I don't know if it's looping. I'll figure it out when I'm editing the video, so it might be looping around. But that's what I meant to say. We can continue on to the next clip. Market. We have a bunch of liquidity. We got a whole imbalance up there. Did equilibrium, ended up shooting back up. We ended up shooting back up. You could even see on the 5-minute, we ended up coming back up, shooting back up. We're going to end up shooting back up later on too. This could look really, really bad for the S&P 500. I mean, if you check out the daily chart too, I mean, we might need to retrace a little bit. I mean, I don't really know. I'm very bearish overall, but we still have a little bit of liquidity up here at 461 and even 468. After that, I don't see anything else happening, And this could be interesting, like interesting to really see play out. There was a big spike up during TradingView. If we go over to the DXY and take a look at it, I believe it was at, let me check out when the news came out. The news came out at 10 a.m., right? So if you go over to 10 a.m., exactly on 10 a.m., as soon as the news came out, look what happened. This whole week was off news. Ended up coming down here, liquidating all of these guys, or liquidating at least the people who bought up there. Ended up coming up the way that we wanted it to. And what ended up happening there? Because of that, S&P ended up shooting straight down. So you know what this means? This means we could target a whole lot of liquidity tomorrow. So things could get very interesting very quickly. And, this is honestly something I'm looking forward to, because we might be bearish for the next couple of days, or maybe even, for a little while until the US dollar, unless the US dollar comes down even more. That's really the only time I could see us hitting maybe liquidity up here, just tapping out everybody who sold right here, which could be very interesting to see as well. But look at the way everything just dropped. This was during the news too, which is really interesting. See? Look what ended up happening during the news. 10, exactly 10. This wick was all the way down here. I saw this play out live, and it was incredible. It was incredible. Like, it was truly incredible, right? The amount of power that news holds. Like, I knew it held power, but I didn't see it live. Like, or I didn't, wasn't necessarily thinking about it at first. I knew it messed up the market, but maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough. I don't think I was paying attention enough, and this is the first time I ever paid attention to news and waited for it to come out and saw a move like that happen. I'm sure I saw it a couple other times, but I wasn't paying attention, right? And every single take profit got hit, but I exited out the position a little bit early because I got scared, and we ended up making a 1.54% gain on the total account value, and it would have hit all my take profits. Well, my 2 take profits, right? Take profit 1 would have got hit. Take profit 2 would have got hit. Take profit 3 would have got hit. Even take profit 4, if you want to count that. I wouldn't even be in take profit 4. I would be out of my position by then. I would have probably just got out of take profit 2, or maybe even take profit 3, and then let the run rest, because I don't have the contracts for that. I usually just trade 1 contract, and that's it. So this is interesting to see. And just let alone overall, it was actually just a very interesting day, and it gave me a lot of insight on what I should look out for as well, with concerning the US dollar and whatever happens economically around the world. So this is something I should probably look out for a lot more, instead of just running in blindly And now I have another, like a new thing to add to my trade, which is the DXY. I have the DXY, the US dollar index, to look for. And now I know how news kind of works. Well, in a sense works now. As before I didn't, and I was just running into things blindly. But we could probably just come up here, tap out liquidity even up here, and then just drop down even more. And that's kind of what I want. I just want the S&P to just go to the ground. Like I want it to just drop down all the way, like maybe even down here, like 445 ish. If we could see that happen, that would be beautiful. That would be beautiful. I actually was waiting on this move for a couple days too. That's the funny part. I waited for this move for like 2 to 3 days. I waited for this news this day. I waited for this move that day. I was just waiting on the downside, and it was incredible. I didn't trade this day. I traded this day though. Um, and I traded this day as well. And I was waiting for a move like this overall. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens Monday. That's it for this week. Markets close. I'm not gonna be trading forex, crypto, none of that. Markets close, indices close. Weekend. It's the weekend. I'm gonna work on some other projects I got going on. But that's probably it for today. This is really interesting, and this is really something interesting to see and insightful that I could use. So I'm just gonna edit this up, get it out there, and then just post it. So we'll get that out there, and we'll just continue going. Maybe we'll get a strategy video out. I might get a strategy video out. Um, I don't know. I've been kind of putting that off a little bit. I might get that out. I don't really know. Still iffy about it. Um, just iffy about it. But I'll see if I get it out. We'll see. But anyways, that's gonna be the end of this. It's gonna be the end of this video, and then it's just a little recap, and we're set into to make a whole nother. We're set in to make probably more downside on Monday. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But that's the end of this one.